Good afternoon, everyone. Tomas Patterson here from Boss Financial. Thanks for tuning in. For my first video today, I want to share with you guys the top 5 ways to save money. So if this leads to you just having some extra spending money at the end of the month, or if it causes your portfolio to grow bigger, I guarantee you're going to be able to take away 2 or 3 concepts from this video. So stick around in the next few seconds for some of those, but I just want to give you a little quick rundown about my channel. I'm going to be posting regular videos about personal finance, investing, wealth building, and all things kind of finance to help you walk that road to financial independence, not alone, and financial freedom, which is a big one for people. As well as I'm going to give you my advice, opinions, to help you take the steps to personal success, whatever your definition of that might be. So whether you're male, female, older, younger, knowledgeable or not, just getting started, maybe you don't know where to start, or if you're filthy rich and just need some entertainment, I'm sure you're going to find some gems in my channel. So me, myself, I'm 23 years old, I'm Canadian, so I'm from around the Windsor area. I graduated with an honors bachelor's degree of business from Wilfrid Laurier last year. I'm really just an entrepreneur at heart, even though I'm working at a credit union right now out of school. With these videos, I just want to share things I've learned and have valuable conversations and connections with like-minded people like you in the YouTube community. So all I ask, if you enjoy this video or if you learn something from my content, just drop a like there and subscribe if you're interested in what I have to release next. With the whole YouTube algorithm, these days every like counts, and I do appreciate it. So now, without further ado, how can you save yourself some money? Number 1. Stop the purchases that aren't needed. Okay, so this basically just comes down to money and how certain people handle it. And really, if you take anything away from my channel, anything away from my videos, at the very least, I just want everyone to understand the value of a dollar, okay? You need to pretend that these dollars are your employees and you want them to work for you. Or maybe pretend they're your soldiers and you want to send them out to the battlefield and do some damage, man. Money isn't a static possession that's just there to stay. People will stock it up like it is, but believe me, it's not, guys. And keep in mind, it's not just something that should also be coming into your hands just to leave them. I work for a credit union, and let me tell you, I hear all the time people saying, oh, I make money to spend it, or that's the point of money, to buy things. What are you talking about? And it's like, no, guys, I know what you're talking about. I get what you're saying, but it's completely wrong. Money is a tool to use. Like, does that not make sense? It can work for you or it can work against you. So, aka debt. If you have a friend or a close one that has a real issue with this, say online shopping with a credit card, you might want to sit them down and tell them simply the classic phrase, stop spending money you don't have to buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like. Now, sometimes what I find myself doing when I start thinking about things I want to buy, often impulsively, I'll think it over for a hard day or two or even a week, depending on the object, and I'm going to consider whether or not I actually still want this, and do the pros outweigh the cons, and will I regret this? Is it going to actually add value to me? Trust me, often the simple fact of waiting can give you some real clarity. Our life is full of purchases, but the sooner you realize the difference between a good purchase and a bad purchase, your complete mindset changes, trust me, and it's really one of those first steps to creating financial independence. There was a book I read once, a couple years back, that really hit me. It was called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and an important lesson I took away from this is that rich people buy assets and not liabilities. You don't want to waste your money on the latter. And you might be thinking, well, what does that mean? You know, I buy all the Louis belts and I have the nicest car. Those are assets. I took accounting in high school, dumbass. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're wrong. It's important to think of assets and liabilities as things that put money in or take money out of your pocket. That belt, it's something with a utility purpose, but it's overpriced and it does nothing for you in terms of wealth. That new fancy car, wrong again. If you bought it with a car loan, you're paying thousands of dollars in interest just to own the car, and we're not even factoring you losing about 10-20% of its value the second you drive it off the lot. So my recommendation, you want to buy with cash. You don't want to buy too old because it's going to have a lot of problems and you're going to pay for that. But don't buy brand spanking new. It doesn't make sense. That's just more money wasted. Even something such as your new smartphone, chances are you're financing it with a bill you pay monthly. You know, these days I've seen plans averaging coming in at like $100 or more. So sometimes you have to look in the mirror and say, is this really what I'm paying for? Is this a good deal? Because after all, it's money you're leaving your pocket, guys. It's a true liability. So, okay, Tomas, I get it. I could see what aren't assets, but what are then? Well, Like we said, they're things that put money in your pocket. So these are things like investments, stocks, bonds, GICs, CDs in the States, real estate, an online business, or even something such as a course or a book that's going to allow you to move up in your career or teach you something, allow you to make more money, because that's an investment in yourself. These are real assets. So these things are going to generate a return for you on your money. After all, the whole point of investing is to grow your money, right? You have to remove temptation triggers and realize what something's really worth. For example, instead of that $100 new pair of shades, that same $100 invested compound at 5% annual interest rate over 40 years, that could just be over $700 in 40 years. Now, in theory, you just lost out on $600 minus the inflation. It's not by blowing through each and every paycheck with nothing to show for it at the end of the day that's going to get you ahead. Instead, it's by putting all your money to work, and that's going to lead you to a successful financial future. You just have to think ahead, guys. Step number 2 to save some money, stop eating out. Okay, I know a lot of people are going to come in my heads for this one, but just hear me out. I'm not saying don't eat another bite outside your kitchen. Believe me, this is something I struggle with the most, but I can honestly say recently I've made some improvements and learned how to control how much I spend out eating compared to the past couple of years when I was in school, things like that. So I do really have to pull myself together not to just hook a right and go to the McDonald's drive-thru sometimes or go out to eat with my buddies or my girlfriend. But I think the main thing that people need to understand or to realize is that they're spending way too much money on food, whether it's fast food, sushi, restaurants, Uber Eats, the list goes on. So, I mean, eating out is something you should enjoy. What's the point of living if you're not doing things you enjoy? But again, with that comes moderation. You should be able to budget a few days a week where you can go out, grab a bite. But if you just took the time to get your groceries and make your own food, you could definitely have some extra money at the end of the week. Look, even if you're not the greatest chef, a Delissio pizza is cheaper than a Domino's one. Or if you go and buy frozen fruit, that's better than buying smoothies every day. So in the end, not only will your wallet thank you, but your health might too. All right, number 3, ways to save money, guys. Save your change. This is just a little thing I thought of that some people could benefit more than others. Basically, it's just a fun activity we've been doing since we were kids, filling up the piggy bank. It's a little bit more of a benefit these days because chances are if you're watching this, you're older and you're actually making money now. So, and if you're not, I guess it really doesn't matter what I say. Just make sure you hit that like button down there and that your parents are okay with you watching my videos. Anytime you spend money on something with cash, I want you guys to hold on to the change you receive back. Put it in a piggy bank, something like this. Or if you don't have a piggy bank, maybe a jar or whatever, just keep it there. This leads to step 2, okay? Step 2 is to have a goal when you're going to break this or when you're going to take back your cash. This way, you can be self-disciplined and you're actually going to give it enough time to build up. You don't want to just break into it and get a few bucks, okay? You can make your goal by dollar value if you know how much you're putting in there. It could be by time frame, like 6 months of saving, or maybe your goal is just to fill the container or whatever. It all really works the same as long as you have enough time for it to accumulate. So this is helpful because what do most people do with their change? They keep it in their pockets or, they throw it in their car dash, pay for some coffees in the future. But what all this is doing is it's creating a habitual opportunity to just waste more of your money. What saving this coin does is it allows you to essentially save more of your money, and when you get enough, use it to add value to yourself, such as investing that money and helping it grow. Some banks, in a way, have this feature that operates off the same principle as well. They might call it something like Simply Save or Save for Change, and basically you could choose to have your purchases, money rounded to the nearest dollar or a set percentage, and that go directly into a savings account. And like I said before, this works better for some than others, and that's just a fact. Me, myself, although I follow this practice, I rarely use cash, and that's kind of a problem. I use Visa for everything I can to take advantage of the rewards points, as well as the simplicity and convenience it offers today, just carrying a card around. And also with things like purchase protection, it's going to save you some money potentially down the line. You have things like banking apps, Apple Pay, the list goes on. So I like to see visually on a list where all my money is going, and it leads to better budgeting at the end of the day for me to have everything on my card. That being said, it's a little harder for me to save up my cash compared to someone such as a server at a good restaurant, bar, golf course, something like that, who can make a killing in change at the end of the day from all their tips. I've seen people coming into the credit union, with like a bag or a jar full of like change, $300 plus, and they say that it took them no time at all to get. So imagine being in their shoes and having coin coming in over and over and putting that away. It all depends what kind of spender you are and your patience level. But I always like having a little random chunk of cash at the end of the day to put into investments, pay off a chunk of debt or anything like that. That little boost wouldn't have been there before if you didn't plan ahead. And that's actually a perfect segue into my next way to save money. Number 4, guys, pay your debts off sooner. That's right. I'm going to read that again just to piss people off. Pay your debts off sooner. What is this guy talking about? I came here to learn how to save my hard-earned cash, and he wants me to spend more of it? Well, guys, here's the thing. Paying off your debts sooner could actually save you thousands of dollars, and it's simple as that. If you have bad debt like credit card debt or high-rate consumer loans, anything like that, I would tackle that immediately. But then if you have any extra money laying around at the end of the month, you might want to consider making some extra payments to your loans. Money isn't free, and when you get a loan, say for your new car or even a mortgage, student loan, I know a lot of people have student debt like me, okay? There's interest charged on it, and you're going to pay that interest for the entirety of the term that you signed for. And believe me, the price tag can get hefty. For example, let's consider you bought a new car for $20,000 and you went to the bank or dealership and you got a loan for this. Let's also make a couple assumptions here. Let's assume you borrowed the full amount, that's $20,000, and you didn't put a down payment on it, so no money up front, and you also paid no sales tax. Say this loan is for 5 years and the interest rate you're paying is 5%. Also keep in mind, guys, 5% is pretty reasonable. As average car loans in Canada, you're probably going to get 5 to 6% to start, and they can easily reach 8 to 11%. So 5%, that's fair. And are you ready for this? Over the next 5 years, for that $20,000 car, you're going to be paying over $2,500 in interest. Looks like you are paying tax after all, because that comes in at 12.5% of the original purchase price of the car. So that's almost HST, 13% applied twice. At the end of the day, subjectively speaking, this is money that's pulled right from your wallet and thrown into the trash. Now, I'll admit, sometimes it's not exactly feasible to pay cash for a car. Situations change and different things work for different people. And if you're trying to save money for the short term, making extra payments on your debts might not be the strategy for you, as this won't put more cash in your pocket instantly. It's more for those with the mentality of long-term wealth building using strategy and, healthy financial habits. Perhaps this might mean living below your means now so that you can live within them or above them in the future. Dave Ramsey, the beans and rice diet, cutting costs, all sorts of things. Myself, I'm focused on both paying debts and investing because I want to take advantage of the magic of compounding while I'm young through investing, while also being able to chip down my things such as student debt and my car loans so that they don't bog me down for more than they need to, like a few years. So that brings me to my favorite and final way to save money. Number 5, guys. If you're still watching this video, by the way, great for you. Thanks for watching my content. Hit the thumbs up. And number 5, pay yourself first. Okay, so here I'm going to tell you about one of my favorite books that I've read. This was called The Wealthy Barber, and I read it a couple years ago. Give me a thumbs up and smash that like button if you read The Wealthy Barber, by the way. That's right. Do it. I'll wait. Okay, thank you. Anyways, by the way, if you haven't read The Wealthy Barber, take that like back. Maybe just give me a like at the end of the video. You don't need to be a part of that. Anyways, it was one of the first books I've read that got me thinking on the path of investing, wealth building, financial freedom, all that kind of stuff. I recommend this book in my top 5 because it's just so simple of an idea or concepts to understand, and the majority of people just can't seem to follow this. It isn't a difficult read at all, so don't be intimidated. Basically, what pay yourself first means is that you want to start keeping some of your money for the long haul before you even think of spending it. This means that before any bills, before your case of beer, before you call a plumber for that pipe that just burst, you pay yourself first. Okay, that last example is a bit of a stretch. If you're strapped for cash, obviously, and your pipe bursts, go ahead, call a plumber. I insist. Okay, I insist. So anyways, this habit, pay yourself first, it's best developed by choosing a set percent. So say 10% as in the book, and what you want to do is every paycheck you want to invest this 10% without spending it, and you want to possibly increase this amount in the future. 10% of your income, guys, it isn't that much at all. Believe me, you will not even notice it's gone. I promise you that. If you're doing things right, that means you're budgeting. What this does is it trains your mind to adapt and live closer to or below your means while starting to build a nest egg for the future with minimal work. The hardest part, in fact, is being consistent. Over time, your money will start to grow and it's going to compound itself to create a nice retirement fund one day. It's important not to worry about the things such as the markets, if you're investing in things like mutual funds, stocks, because generally the markets are going to go up over time. They have for like the past 100 years or more, guys. So also, disclaimer, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not an advisor of any sort. My videos and content, this is just for entertainment, educational purposes only. You should always consult with a professional before making investment decisions. I don't want to be responsible for anything you guys might do in your personal life. I just want to give you my advice and my opinions. And look, if you're too scared to invest, you can always do things like open a separate bank account that pays a higher interest than your typical savings account at a bank. I have an account personally with Tangerine. It started off paying like 3%. That was a promotional, I think, for like half a year. But now it pays me 1.2% interest annually, which is better than your 0.05 or your 0.5% maybe you might be getting elsewhere. So I'm pretty sure you could get a promotional rate. I'll throw a link in the description below. If you're interested, check it out. It's real quick, easy to sign up online. And they both have the web interface as well as the mobile application, so it's really user-friendly. Me myself, however, I have a three-pronged approach kind of when it comes to paying myself first, because I pay myself not 10%, but about 35 to 40% of my income coming from each check, and I divide it up amongst stocks, my Tangerine account, which I send money there just for a down payment for a house, and I don't touch it. It's out of sight, out of mind. And also my emergency fund, I put money in there as well. So yeah, if you're interested in that read, it's called Wealthy Barber, and it's by David Chilton. He's a business mogul and also a dragon on the entrepreneurial show Dragon's Den. If you've seen that, check it out. It's a pretty good show. I liked watching that growing up. And he's also from Kitchener, Ontario, which was a rock's throw away, where I was at Wilfrid Laurier in Waterloo. So I thought that was pretty cool reading the book. It was a cool read for me. Maybe it can open up your eyes to possibilities and get you thinking differently, rewire your brain. Because that's one of the most important goals here, is to just start thinking differently about money. And that's why I'm doing all this, guys, is to help people realize certain things that they've been doing wrong or they might never have been taught, and help share this stuff, because you really don't learn these important subjects in school. You learn trigonometry, how to play the recorder, and hey, that's great, but at the end of the day, it's the truth that no one teaches you about personal finance or how to use money to better yourself or to be your own boss. They teach you how to be an employee, how to spend money. Believe me, guys, I went to university for 4 years for business, and I really didn't even start to clue into some of these things and towards the end, so probably third or fourth year. And mind you, that was just from reading some books and mostly from the internet. So with these days, the internet, all it takes is one little piece of advice or information that can really change someone's life forever. And it's content like this that I really think can have a serious compounding effect going forward to benefit people's lives. And it really makes me a little more satisfied knowing that I could be helping someone out watching my videos, no matter who they are, and help them make changes for the better in their financial situation. So yeah, with that, thanks guys for watching this vid. Hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed. It really means a lot to me. I'm just getting going on this YouTube journey. I have a lot to learn here. And hit the notifications button, because I want to be posting regular content, and that'll help you know when my videos are dropped. And I'm going to try and be consistent here. Also follow me on Instagram at Boss Financial Channel. Some content will be there as well. I'm still getting going. So with that, have a great one, guys and gals. Keep positive, and see you next time.